Here we go. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers. If you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, I found that some people will subscribe to your channel, but they don't want you to know that they subscribed. I think it's called publicly, their place, their YouTube channel isn't public or something. So if you have liked and subscribed to my video and I haven't liked and subscribed to yours back, you may have to change that privacy because this week I got 5 subscribers in one day, and when I went to subscribe back, I only had 1 subscriber. So I did find that there are 2 places to check on your subscribers, and I'm subscribed to everyone that subscribed to me, but I haven't had 5 subscribers yet. All right, so if you would like to buy me a cup of coffee, I'm at Cash App, Ricky and the letter D, RICKEY and the letter D, 413. Thanks. I'll thank you later when I'm drinking the coffee. Which is, I don't know, I must have changed my frequency because nothing tastes good. The only thing that tastes good is ice cream. The way I remember it, I like to get the Moose Tracks. So since I was trying to be healthy, of course I came off of the ice cream and stuff that you really like. I'm trying to get my weight up, so this morning when I was on my way out, I stopped at a convenience store and I got one of those breakfast sandwiches. The bottom was hard. Look, all I want is to get my weight back up, all right? Because with this healthy diet, man, my weight went way down. I'm like 5 pounds. If you see me, I might not want to lose 5 pounds, especially since I'm outside every day. So I want to have on a little extra weight. So that breakfast sandwich, it didn't taste right. I'm like, because the bottom was hard. They put them on those warmers. Oh boy, what's going on? The ambulance. Please be careful. Slow down. Where are you going? I know you have a routine. I ride on what we call the Parkway, and it is amazing to me that people are still driving at greater than 55 miles per hour. And I just decided I'm going to do 40, maybe 45 miles per hour, because I'm not down for not being able to stop. As fast as people are going, if someone was to find themselves losing control, I did all this precaution for nothing. It's kind of like living. No matter how healthy you try to be, you still end up in the sky. So I figured, well, I might as well have fun while I'm here, and I might as well enjoy myself. So young people, new people, I want you to take some of your money and I want you to go on vacations. Be like those rich young kids that tell their parents, before I go to college, I want to go find myself. Send me to Paris. Be like that. Now, they may be able to go if they decide in like the next 30 days. But if you're, poor like me, which I did not know I was poor until I was about 18, I never really thought about it. Um, Good morning. Let me see. Who's that early bird out here? Boy, there's always an early bird. Oh, hey, Paul. Um, I'm taking vacation. The one vacation I did take overseas, I actually paid for it by the month. I mean, I didn't know that I could do that, but I did. I had a family member I was living vicariously through. They were just going to, traveling all the time, and they decided to go to the motherland. So I figured, I want to go to the motherland. I always wanted to, and now I got someone that I could go with. I figured, okay, why not? My problem is, what was that? That was in the 21st century when I did that. And that's my age, you know what I'm saying? I tell time by centuries. So, in the 21st century, I found that the motherland doesn't have children with flies and stuff in their nose and the big bellies. Hmm. And they didn't have the ladies with the grass skirts. Hey, Kaylin. 886. It looks like LK. I don't know how to pronounce an L and a K together, so I'll just go with Blanco. Cablanco. Um, it was actually quite nice. It was paid for in advance, and whatever I did buy, it was relatively inexpensive. If you take a trip with a tour agency, I would recommend you do that. Hey, Mason Dixon line. Uh, what wasn't actually even the Mason Dixon line. It wasn't where I thought it was. In my brain, I had an idea where it was, but it's apparently not there. So anyway, I digress. So go with the tour, and try to go with someone that you have something in common with. I think that would make a difference. And I would recommend, because it happened to me, I went with someone that I wasn't romantically connected to. So if there was an opportunity for us to have a fallout or something like that there, I didn't have to worry about that. I mean, that wasn't my plan, but when I reflect on it, I'm like, okay, so I just had someone that I had something in common with. So, since I am biblically inclined, some might consider me to be a biblical scholar. I doubt that. Not. Um, I found that the tour was heavy on visiting temples and places that had some either spiritual inclinations or other than. My tour didn't include discos. Okay, and the only thing I could tell you is we had an itinerary, and when we came home at the end of the day, we were exhausted. Okay, so we did travel by bus a lot, which was interesting since we were uh, tourists. We actually had a, an armed guard. I guess I could say that. And it was quite unique. Being in the military, I wasn't uh, preoccupied with having someone that was armed, but he had a really fancy gun. It wasn't a long gun because he would wear it under his shirt. I mean, under his coat. And of course, he was a bigger guy. He wasn't my size with the jacket on. All right. Even if I had a small Uzi or something like that there, I think it would probably still hang under my jacket or something. Not unless I did something with the strap, but they were really very serious about protecting us. Um, it was so serious that we took a exit ramp. Now we are on a bus that is big as a Greyhound, and we got on this exit ramp, and a vehicle had broken down in front of us, and our driver took that big old Greyhound bus and maneuvered around this broken down car. He did not stop. It was, I've never seen anything like that. And he got us safely to our destination. uh, I had a inexpensive phone. I had one of the dumb phones. So when you go overseas, you have to have a different type of plug. So I believe we only had one. It was odd that the hotel that we were staying in, even though it was a 3-star or a 4-star hotel, um, they usually provide a international plug, but I wasn't aware of it. But by the end of the tour, I was aware of it. But initially, I wasn't aware of it. So my battery, what was running out. It was like my first couple of days. So I took a few pictures and I made some posts, but I got preoccupied with my battery dying. And the first place we went to, I guess, didn't have one. I didn't know. I didn't know. The only thing I knew was, hey, my plug for my battery charger isn't going to work in here. So eventually that worked out. So I didn't take as many pictures as I could have. But at the same time, uh, I did notice that there was no women in the grass skirts that were like topless. This is where my mindset was. So it taught me a couple of things, and that's in hindsight. Things are not the way you remember it. Things are not the way you were taught. All right. One thing I learned, I'm going to college, is that each year we went to college, we got a different level book for the same subject. So first year would be English 1, then the next year would be English 2, and the next year would be English 3, prospectively 101, 201, and 301. So you could not use the same book each year. And those books, if you're poor, were relatively expensive. All right. So I got them and I held on to them for years. But what that did teach me was that uh, you have to learn something new every day. We get used to not learning something new every day. That's just how it is. I don't know if it's because we are distracted. I don't know what it is, but we may not learn something new every day. So look, new people, you're going to have to learn something new every day, but you don't have to learn something completely in one day. So you don't have to learn how to build a plane in one day, but you might want to at least pick up uh, uh, how to build a airplane. Okay. Um, I watched this movie, and it was about a bunch of guys. Their plane had crashed in the desert. All right, and they noticed after a while that they were being watched. Okay, so they decided, probably correctly, that they have got to get out of there because they were sitting ducks, and plus they were non-melanated. So you kind of get the idea where this was going. So there was a guy on there. He was a nerd, and he told them that he was a engineer, and he could help them rebuild the plane. All right. So however it crashed, the engine would still come on. The propeller would still work. Okay. So they fixed it up with stuff that was part of the plane, and it was almost time for them to uh, move the plane to a cliff. Okay, where they would start to take off on the runway, and then of course they would go down, and the draft would take them up. All right, and for some reason or another, there's always a suspicious person. Do you have a suspicious person around you? They're going to find something. And I tell you what, if somebody knows something about you, eventually they're going to tell it. That's just human nature. Okay, now that doesn't have to be everybody, but just for the sake of the story, he found that the book and that the man was using to rebuild this plane. And it turns out it was model airplanes. So I can not begin to tell you how the situation for the engineer turned quite precarious. All right, because people who are the most against you, they tend to be strong. They tend to be stronger than you, and they could really hurt you. Okay, they probably in another life were bullies. This is the depiction on TV. I wouldn't know this myself, but I'm uh, picking up from the movie that he really could hurt that guy because he found out that the guy was a model airplane maker. But he convinced them, and the other guys convinced him, well, what else are we going to do? All right. But the tension was there since now everybody knew he was a model plane engineer. But he assured them that it was the same principles: foil, wheels, and an engine. I mean, all right. Okay, so uh, this was their last day. They're like, okay, we're gonna go because these people, and the desert people, are starting to get closer to us because I guess the desert people were figuring, hey man, they're not going anywhere. Let's go down there and see what they got. There was a story about a good Samaritan in the Bible, a priest, and let's just say a deacon. All right. Oh, a good Samaritan, a deacon, and a priest. All right. Back in those days, since everybody had to walk, sometimes you would walk on a trail. It was easier to walk on a trail than it was in the sand. I'm sure a camel. Okay, so this guy, I guess he wasn't from the area, and he's walking down this trail, and yep, you guessed it, he got robbed. And for some reason or another, when people rob you, they can't just rob you. They have to beat the crap out of you. I don't know what it is. I mean, hey, just rob me. Well, whatever. Here, let me lock my door. Just rob me. You don't have to beat the crap out of me. You got a gun. There's 2 or 3 people. I mean, what am I going to do? What are you beating the crap out of me for? That's because there's a saying, popular thing you've never done. Popular thing you've never done. Hold on. It said start a question and answer session. Start Q&A. Popular. Okay, let me put that up there and see how that goes. Someone told me to do that once. Okay, so first a priest comes past, and he's seen that the guy, he was beaten, he was bruised, and they took all the guy's clothes, but the priest kept going past. Then a holy man comes, and he sees him. He gets a little closer, but he leaves him. And then somebody like you or me, a good Samaritan, comes along, and we put him on our camel and take him to the next town, which he was probably close to it, because if he was on a trail, it's not like he was in the middle of the desert. So he takes him into town, and he gives the hotel, because back then that was a way to make money. You could turn your house into a hotel. It didn't have to be a 5-star hotel. Any port in a storm, So he gave the guy a small piece of gold, and he said, "Hey, take care of him, give him some water, feed him, and then if it costs more than this, let me know whenever I come back in. I'll pay you the difference, okay?" So that's what a good Samaritan is. But the reason why I told you that story was because the idea behind it was, if you're going to rob somebody, you must first bind the strong man. Okay, so you may find yourself in a situation like that, and that's probably why they do it, because they don't know, if you're a strong man or not. Okay, you could really be like Bruce Lee. I have these short videos I watch, and there's these guys who try to teach you how to stop someone or block someone if they're trying to choke you or stuff like that. I've watched those. I don't actually practice them, but I do watch them. So it is possible for us smaller guys to get out of a hold from a bigger attacker or a bigger aggressor, but you have to be fast. Or you can't wait until they get their hands on you. I used to learn Tai Chi whenever we were smaller. Somebody in the neighborhood, I don't even know how he got us organized, but when we were in high school, he had a group of us and he was teaching us Tai Chi. And I actually forgot about it for maybe 3 or 4 years until I was actually in the military, and I used it. I was like, oh, okay. So keep watching those type of self-defense videos, young people, because it's in your psyche, and when you need it, it'll probably come up. Use your muscle memory. All right, so can anybody see my question? It says popular thing you've never done. Then under that, it has an answer button. So when I hit the answer button, it doesn't do anything. It says drag here to end the question and answer session. So you guys can help me out as I try to work my way through these videos. I thought that it could be a question that I could ask. So, for example, I had an opportunity to defend myself. Did you know that if you go to court, you can do that? Chances are pretty good it's going to be difficult for you to be successful because even though you're defending yourself and they will give you a little leeway, there is a way that they do it. All right. And they want you to follow that protocol or, yeah. All right. People say things like show decorum. You don't want to go in there and and you're upset and you're hollering and scaring everybody in the courtroom because it's a room. It's not a studio or anything like that there. So it's a courtroom. But one thing I learned that when you go to select the jury, they have these questions that you could choose from. And to me, it just seems these are the dumbest questions that you could ever ask someone. And my point was you couldn't ask the question that you wanted to ask of the jury. So, for example, I would ask, do you know what the Fourth Amendment is of a jury member or a prospective juror? I would ask questions like that. And believe it or not, if you haven't been on jury duty, those aren't the questions that they ask you. So, oh boy. So, best case scenario, young people, stay out of trouble. I waited really a long time before I got in trouble. I almost was at the age of the guy in Breaking Bad before I got in trouble. But my trouble was drinking. It wasn't like where I made hundreds of thousands of dollars in some kind of undercover illegal operation or something like that there. But for the most part, young people, stay out of trouble. I found that justice is blind and it has a scale. One side is justice and the other side is penalty. But our system is heavy on the penalty side. They just do too much. But they do tell you, to be fair, you can't afford a second DUI. And they're right. It's extremely high. So do not drink and drive under any circumstances. If you can, sleep in the car. Do not drive. Friends, do not let friends drive drunk. And the problem with that is the drunk driver is not thinking that way. Okay? They're thinking, okay, I'm ready to go. And I mean, you've been drinking, you presume, or you're like, oh, well, again, they should be okay to drive. They are not. And the reason why they're not is because of outside influences. There are other cars on the road. They're not the only ones out there. And they actually have law enforcement officers out there trying to find melanated people who are driving under the influence. I digress. They're probably looking for anyone. I've seen videos where sheriffs have been pulled over for DUIs, council people, and they always try to weasel their way out of it, which makes sense. Because if I was one of those people, I would try to weasel my way out of it too. Oh boy. So they do handle you a little bit different depending on the type of consumption you're under. So, for example, if you are just drunk off of beer, 20 minutes to an hour later, you're sober again because the beer wears off, and you're at least not slurring. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you are so inclined to get me a cup of coffee, my Cash App is $ Ricky and the letter D 412. RICKEY, the letter D 412. And I'll thank you later whenever I get my cup of coffee. If somebody makes a donation while I'm on, I might go get a cup of coffee while you're here and show you what I got. But again, my taste buds, somebody told me to ask my doctor, is any of the medication that I'm taking, is that affecting my taste buds? The last time I seen my doctor, I had like 20 questions because you could write your questions to your PCP, and whenever you go in, she'll have that. Mine didn't want to go over it. I could clearly see that there was a difference in my PCP visit. So, for example, whenever I just went in for a routine check, everything was fine. They take the stethoscope and they place it on your back and they ask you a couple questions and bada boom, bada bing, you're done. But since I had all these questions, she was, the first thing she did was she canceled 3 appointments. And since she canceled the first appointment, they hurried up and rescheduled the second. And since she rescheduled the second, they hurried up and rescheduled the third one. So I was able to get through. So I don't know, I didn't ask her if something had happened to her or whatever, but succinctly, those rescheduling dates were pretty close together, like within 6 weeks or something. I had 3 visits. Where normally with my PCP, if I missed an appointment, it would be like months before I could reschedule. So I'm making the connection that it's true what they say, that the doctors just want to prescribe pills. That's what they make their money off of. And I'm not mad at them, but they're not really curing me. I got the high blood pressure, they say, and just yesterday I found that the blood pressure medication either restricts your veins or relaxes your veins or something like that there. And that side effect is actually a potential for giving you a stroke. Like, you know what? So you're taking all this medication to keep from having a stroke, and the side effect is having a stroke. I'm like, I don't know. So I didn't always know that. So what I decided to do was take the alternative remedies and stuff. So I'm going to try those and see how that goes, because the side effects are non-existent. The worst thing about them, Mason, is the taste. Okay, so whatever they taste like in a tea, or if you mix them with blueberries or something like that, there you could always spruce it up a little bit, or you could make it to taste. Okay, so are you still with me, Papa? Okay, so anyway, be prepared for the unexpected. And I want you to give the credit to something that is greater than you, something that's higher than you, something that is looking over you. So, for example, I had quite a few unexpected delays today. What was my first unexpected delay? I got my car repaired at the beginning of winter, and this morning it exhibited the same symptoms. I was like, oh, so I'm either thinking, well, I'm either going to have to catch the bus, which the shoes I have, catching a bus it just isn't an option. Now, since the bus is maybe a half hour ride, my feet probably would have gotten warmed up, but um, drag here in Cuba. Okay. Um, but that is not recommended. Um, I'm working today. I typically don't work on Fridays because it's the Sabbath day, and I don't want my employer to get used to me working on the Sabbath day. The Sabbath day starts at Friday at sunset until Sunday at sunset. And I don't want to take on a job and come out of retirement uh, because they may ask me to work on a Friday. You know, they want you to work Monday through Friday. And as the season goes on, the winter season, it gets dark earlier. So like maybe, I don't know, 5:30, 6 o'clock or something. It starts out getting dark. So basically, I don't want to be working on Fridays. So I got this little side hustle, and I work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Monday, Wednesday. Hmm. Uh, I've been doing this for a while. I can't even remember what I asked him to schedule me as. But anyway, I would only do it 3 days a week, and that seems to work out. But with the Snowmageddon, I had to come in uh, Friday, so that's kind of why my timing is off a little bit, because I wouldn't be doing these today. I probably, if I had an opportunity, I would be sleeping in. But I'm going to go ahead and uh, take an inclination I have to start something that'll help others. And I have found young people, and this is what I want to tell you. You don't want to share your dreams with everyone. Find one person that you could share it with, but you don't have to go into detail. But just let people know that you still have a hope, and you still have, hope. You still want to do something. Because after, look, when I first started talking, I thought that I would share with you, no matter what your plans are, you still end up, okay? So what I decided to do was not tell people what my new plan is, and encourage you, young people, not to do it as well. I am literally at the age where I have to write stuff down. I talked to a guy yesterday because my alignment is off, from running into snowbanks, and I'm enjoying Snowmageddon. My alignment is off, and I found that you may not want to be on an expressway with a alignment that needs attention. But with the Snowmageddon, that most people are slowing down, but most people aren't. And it's usually those, oh, I got four-wheel drive vehicles that you see zooming past you. I'm like, yeah, you got four-wheel drive, but you don't have four-wheel stop. So I don't know. I just never felt an inclination to go faster than road conditions allow. But today, I don't know what it is when you get on this expressway, young people, you tend to want to match the speed. All right, instead of traveling according to the conditions, you tend to have this underlying, oh, people are passing me up, I'm going too slow, or something like that there. Oh boy. Okay, so I did find that I was going excessive of the speed that I found the alignment would keep the vehicle going straight. Now all it would do is wobble, but still, I mean, wobbling at 55 miles per hour, it's a noticeable wobble. So I determined that okay, I'll stay under a certain speed, and I wanted to go the back way or the long way, which it only seems long because of the stop signs, but the travel time is probably only 10 to 15 minute difference. But in my mind, see, this is why young people, I don't want you to go with what you remember something was. Have you ever went to your old neighborhood? They made changes. Houses have been torn down. People have moved. It isn't. It's the same street, but the memories you have uh, of some of the places aren't there anymore. So you're going to have to get out, young people, and you're going to have to get rid of your old perspective and get a new perspective. Okay, and don't try to make anything happen. Go and see what's going to happen, because the person that you're dealing with, who may not know you, they've got impressions, and the best impression is the first impression, young people. uh, and if you're trying to go back down memory lane or something like that, there, I mean, they may plug in or that they may not. Or do you understand what I'm trying to say, new people? I just want to encourage you to get out. Your presence makes a difference. Somebody is going to benefit from being around you today. Whether you can do the things that you used to do, or maybe they just needed to get their mind off of something. Some people, they have anxiety and stuff like that there, and here you come. If you're used to being by yourself, chances are pretty good, if you change your perspective on it, you have a calming effect. Because anybody who stays by themselves, unless it's PTSD or something like that there, that makes you not want to be around people, chances are pretty good you're really comfortable with yourself. You enjoy yourself. You enjoy your own company. I mean, oops. Uh, so get out there and be the change that people need. This world is going crazy. I'm following the Orange Man, and I understand that there are different types of leaders, and I understand that the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And his sound bites tend to be heavily on, he might not be the sharpest knife in the drawer. And I understand that with AI, they could make you say something on camera that you didn't say. They have AI new people that one day I was sitting on the porch, and we had some new neighbors. I don't know how long they were there, but once I was aware of them, I had to go down and say something to them. And I wasn't bringing some donuts or some cake and welcoming them to the neighborhood. But there were three people, and one of them was younger. One of them was a little bit older because he carried himself, and he wasn't confrontational, but he was present. And there was this heavyset white lady, And I understand that the heavy set white ladies are in demand. I've never seen one that was really by themselves so much. I mean, anytime I've seen one, they were um, the creator of heaven and earth made somebody for everybody, except for me and you. Okay, so anyway, all right, so that's the scenario. And the younger guy, he seems to be the most vocal. That's just how you young people are. You're trying to establish yourselves as alpha or whatever. I don't know what you guys are trying to do. I was perfectly happy staying under the radar. The only thing I was vocal about was my faith. Whenever I was growing up. Okay, so anyway, I surmised, and it was partially confirmed that somebody was cutting the grass. And since I do that as a way to hustle, I had an idea how long it takes to cut grass, especially in our neighborhoods, because um, the neighborhood I live in, you got a backyard and a front yard and an alley on both sides. All right, so those yards ain't that big. All right, so for you to hear a lawnmower for an hour and a half, if you're sitting on the porch, that's annoying. Okay, so I went down to find out what the matter was, and the young person said, "Yeah, I got people who do work for me," and you know where my mind went. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, I get it. So, um, I participate in some things that I think will benefit people. So, at this point, I decided that I would share with the young man, "Hey, let me go get my business card, and I'll be right back." Okay. So, when I came back, the scenario was a little bit different. This heavy set white lady was sitting in the front on the porch, and I had to go past her. And the same guy who was cool, calm, and collected, which probably would be you, young people, in this scenario. Um, I had passed her, and I handed him the business card. I said, "Well, which one of you are the oldest?" But from my inclinations, I went to the older melanated man and handed him the business card. And as I'm doing this, the younger person, he was a little agitated. I don't know if he thought I had something in my hand like the ICE agent did with this nurse who he actually had a gun, but uh, people, oh man, I don't even want to talk about that. Um, so he was a little agitated. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this story, because I want you to expect the unexpected. Hey, Isaac, I can. So, later on that evening, I heard 6 shots, not right outside of my house, but within uh, a half a football field. I'll say 50 yards. 6 shots, pow, 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 pow. And just my little brain said, "Oh, that's that young man asserting himself." But what the young man didn't know was that there was a shot spotter right there. And I didn't notice it either. I did see them putting something up, but I didn't make a connection that it was a shot spotter. And the reason why I was able to figure out that it was a shot spotter was because after he did that, the cops went right there, right to that spot. So I don't know if they knew exactly who it was who did it, but I can say to this day they do not live there anymore. Okay, young people, new people. When you move into a neighborhood, I want you to realize that the people who lived there before you, they lived there for years. Family ties, uh, people bought the house, and it used to be their uncle's house. So these people have lived there for a while. And if you're going to be a problem, and if you're going to scare people, they will get in touch with their landlord, who is quite possibly a family member, and you're not going to be living there long either. So, um, in a sense, I want you to get to know your neighbors, because we somewhere in our brain think that we knew our neighbors whenever we were growing up, Isaac, and I just don't think we did. Uh, we may have known maybe one or two. On my street, uh, a 2 block radius, I may have known 6 people, where I would actually go past their house and go on their porch, maybe 6 of them. And we had a big family, so we kind of had people coming around our house, but not so much. We lived on a corner house, and the oldest was boys, so we have that type of crowd, boys coming around, because we used to like to play drums or congos or pots and pans. And so we were kind of popular, but uh, we would have parties and stuff in the basement, and there was, dancing going on, slow dancing and stuff like that there. But no, we didn't really know that many people. But but I was actually voted the most popular, Isaac. How many people came for dinner at your house? Well, you know what, you, I'm Stevie. We didn't have anybody come over our house for dinner. And we had a living room, dining room, and a kitchen. And we had a dining room table. And I can't remember all 7 of our siblings sitting at that table for dinner. And I believe that is because we had a single mom household who had to work. The more children you have, if you're a single parent, the less likely you are to be able to hold a job. We need welfare. We need the stall in government we're having right now, the government shutdown. We need to nix that, because people can't raise a family because one gets sick. Okay, and you have to stay. The mother has to stay home. All right. I mean, yeah. If you have a family of 7, well, 6 of them will go to school, but one of them got the measles, so you can't leave. So you're going to lose your job. We need to have this shutdown. Just take that off the table. You're really messing with people's lives, because that's the only way that they're going to survive. They're raising the children who are going to help the economy grow and keep society moving, and then you punish them. I mean, I understand that there's a saying, new people, no good deed goes unpunished. And I'm telling you right now, that is true. That is also true. So, let me see here. All right, so how many people? All right, Stevie. So I want you to expect the unexpected, and I mostly want you to expect delays. Okay, don't get frustrated because you got delayed. All right, because number one, nothing is going to happen until you get there. Okay, they're trying to build a society now, new people, where you could have a standard income or something. so that AI can move in and take over stuff. So you really won't have to work. Oh, basic income. I remember the first time I heard that Indian guy. He probably isn't Indian. He wanted to introduce. I think it was running for president, and his spiel was basic income. So what they did with that is kind of put it out there because he was running for president, and that's how they get you used to something. First, they'll just drop it into the atmosphere, see what karma is going to do with it, and then after a while, it'll become uh, I'm part of society. All right, all right, Isaac, are you still doing good there? You still with me? All right. Orthodoxy, invisible orthodoxy. My mother church and one and only lasting pillar of my faith. Turn to Jesus, church, and you'll be saved. That is good advice because I'm telling you what, if you keep living, you're going to look toward a creator. It's happened to so many before you, and I don't understand people's logic who think there wasn't something that created this. If you could look and say that what we're in, somebody created a mess, there has to be something out there. Even if it's an alien race or something like that. Take a look at the phone or a cell phone. Who came up with that idea? But I do remember, and it could have been a dream or something, because when I was younger, I think I might have dreamed. But we had this TV. All right, it was a little bigger than this, and it had a neck, and the top of it was the TV. It was round. It was like a Jetson TV. And I don't know how long we had it. I don't know where it came from, but I remember that television. And when it came out, it was extraordinary. All right, and then we got color TV. First, you had the plastic rainbow thing that you would put over your black and white TV tube, and then eventually color TV just became standard. Now we got plasma TVs. Then we got smart TVs. There's no telling what we're going to get next. So the only thing that we could get next, mainstream, are those TVs that are shaped like like this. Okay, I think those are cool. And after that, it'll just be the TVs where you can watch somebody. You can hold it in your hand and there'll be a little figure there. I've seen those on TV. I just don't know what they're called because it didn't seem like anything that I would be really interested in, because I like dystopian movies with aliens and stuff in it. I like those types of movies. And I really lean toward the conspiracy theorists. We didn't really grow up with conspiracy theorists, but we did have some, because the term actually came from our generation. What they would do in the old days, if they wanted to make the average person think badly of you, or not as highly as you ought to be thought because of the research and stuff you did and put it out there for people to consume, they would call you a conspiracy theorist. And it's interesting how they will get rid of a person, but the way they do it is by affecting let's say the introverts, because chances are pretty good there are more introverts than there are extroverts, because we only have a certain amount of stars in it. The stars are kind of like extroverts, okay? But the way they discredit you is by affecting the introverts. It's really pretty interesting. So basically, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. New people. That was the saying that we made famous. Uh, hey, Stevie. Oh, wow. That's a lot of work for one lady. Well, I hate to say this, but back when we grew up, it really wasn't that complicated. We had simple rules: go to school, get your lunch, try to get a girlfriend, and come back home. Okay. You could go out and play, but you didn't go that far because you had to walk. It's not like now when you young people go out and enjoy yourselves. You could be anywhere. You could actually drive your car after school, be in another state, and still get back home before you were missed because of transportation. We didn't have transportation like that because of our income, and our mode of transportation was probably a bicycle or walking. And our generation really wasn't. I love to go a wandering along a mountain track. And as I go, I love to sing my knapsack on my back. Valderie, Valdera. No, we didn't. No, we didn't have that. We did not play that dark stuff. Okay, now we didn't have the problems that you young people grew up with, where you might get picked up in a white van. Holy moly! And that is the strong parent. If you have a family, uh, Stevie, that's pretty close to each other, whenever we went out, take your brother, okay, with you, all right? Or my escape was I would just go to sleep. I did join a team, a swim team, and it was really. I remember my last year being on a swim team because I met a pervert. Because for some reason or another, I decided I was feeling myself and I was going to hitchhike. Bad idea. Bad idea. And I think the only reason why I survived is because there was a state police barracks on our way to where I was going to go swimming. Um, what it was behind this state police barracks, it was a driver's training course, and you go there and you take your test and you get your driver's license. So it was kind of lengthy, but I don't know how we found out about this trail, but there was a trail where you can go from the driver's training course straight up the side of the hill and end up at the swimming pool. And I just wouldn't recommend that now. So anyway, I told the guy where I was going. I don't know if he was from there or not. He was a pervert because he asked me if I wanted to look at some pictures. This alarmed me because no, I didn't want to look at any pictures. I wanted to go swimming. You know how we are when we're kids. If we make up our minds that's what we want. Like the people who are half and half, they determined that when they were younger that's what they were going to be. Remember, I don't know if they still do this, but when you were going to school, they would ask you, "Hey, little Johnny, what do you want to be when you grow up? Hey, little Susie, what do you want to be when you grow up?" In the old days, they'd say housewife, fireman, or something like that there. And now the young people You guys have your brain cells are just super cells. You could be anything. You can invent anything. If you get a chance, look at some of the patents that people have made. It's incredible, but they can't get anybody to invest in them, like IBM or Tesla or Mark Zuckerberg. I think Zuckerberg was poor whenever he started. I'm not sure. So anyway, use your brain. If you have an idea, uh, don't think, oh, nobody's ever going to get interested in it, because if you go out and if you expose your idea to people, somebody will pick it up. If it was a good idea to you, it's chances are pretty good it's a good idea for a lot of others. I've saw some videos where they have cars. I've seen a car and a motorcycle that this young man built, but he wanted to bring it to the United States to make a patent. And however this thing works, these things work. The patent office won't patent it if it uses, I don't know, ESP or telepathy or something like that to work. It has to work on nuts and bolts, or you can't patent it. And so he brought it here. He couldn't get a patent, but they let him display the thing. So now eventually somebody will uh, patent his idea. So what he had to do was he had to end up going back home. But since he was younger, of course, he brought one of his friends, probably a cousin or something, and that person got. So he had to end up going home by himself. Then his government took him under their wing. So you may not know this, but overseas, they have cars and stuff that don't operate off of either electricity or um, gas or diesel or anything. They work on uh, turbos or something. Oh, yeah, they do in 2026. But we're not getting it here in the United States. They don't want us to know. All right. There was this guy. He was overseas, and he came up with this machine that would take, I guess, the moisture from the air, filter it or something, and make water. he, he make water out of it. He brought it to the United States, and of course it didn't work. Somebody threw a wrench in it. All right. So he went back to his country, but whenever he was in his country, it would work. And that was another patent that they wouldn't allow to go through. So what I'm saying is you may have an idea. It's just you may not be able to use that idea where you are. Okay? So, for example, you can be a good singer. And the thing about people who sing is sometimes they sing when you want them to, and sometimes they sing when you don't want them to. So if you have an idea, it may not be useful where you are. So for us, since we're heavy on the petrol and the petrol dollar, some inventions that they're not going to let fly here because the quid pro quo is, or the status quo is not like, motivate me, bro. I feel lost in life. Okay. Who is that? Cabery? Oh, I'm Caber? Okay, well, that's easy. Motivation is the easiest thing. I tell you what's hard is depression and anxiety. That's why they have a phone number with 3 digits in it, 988. if or 911 if you're feeling any if you all right if you're not feeling like you're going to be here tomorrow, call those numbers 988 or 911 if it's a medical emergency. But I tell you something, I'm going to motivate you. When you were born, you were a little sperm, well, probably smaller than that. And they say that there's a million of those things coming out at a time, going to the mother's womb. And you made it. So you literally are a million to one. You literally are. Then you weren't done. You lived in what they call a womb for 9 months. No sunlight, no. There wasn't anywhere to go. Boom, boom. Okay. You did that for 9 months. Okay? Then you were born. You had to learn the language, you had to learn to walk, you had to learn to fall, you had to learn how to talk, you had to learn how to use the computer. You were born in a family that might not have always been your cheerleaders. They might not always been in your corner. Okay? And I'm not downing any particular family. Everybody got something that they have to deal with. Somebody called me yesterday at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was everything that I could do to not say, just call the police. Okay? So, this is what I'm trying to tell you. You're going to need a creator. You're going to have to connect with the creator. Okay? Because you're overwhelmed. Okay? There isn't anything designed to make you win, but there are things that are designed to help you win. So you're going to have to find them. If you found your way to the womb, if you found your way if you found your way to learn how to walk and talk and deal with people who you don't know who these people are. They just call them family members. You don't know these people. You don't know how long they've been around. You don't know what kind of things that they have to go. You know, like somebody in your family could be like Jeffrey Dahmer or something. Holy moly. Okay, and for some reason or another, he took favor on you because you were a family member or something. Or you could be like that kid who went to a riot with a rifle. He was 16 or 17. What in the world was on his mind that made him say, I'm going to go to this protest and help out? And he ended up killing people. It's life is just too much. Look, we got people who are supposed to be protecting us right now, and they're shooting people. Maybe justified or not, but the only thing I could say was that there were two people here a couple weeks ago, and we are two people shy of them because some people who are supposed to help us and protect us decided not today. You're going to need to get a connection with the creator of heaven and earth. And you started out with the connection with them because there's no way that you would be able to tomorrow climb into a womb, stand there for 9 months, and be born again. Unless you had a creator. You're going to have to change your perspective and look at how wonderfully and fearfully you were made. So what? You're not made like Arnold or Andre the Giant. but you are just wonderful just the way you are. There's, you can't improve it. You can't make it any worse. You are just you're a resilient thing. No matter what happens, you find a way to deal with it, even if it's with anxiety, even if it's through tripping out. You made it. You're doing it. This is just what it looks like for you. It's not going to look the same for somebody else. I have learned some tips and some techniques about how to succeed, but I cannot tell you. In our culture, we have this thing which might be prevalent, that blacks don't stick together. But it's my experience that they do. So I never had that. I never felt that blacks didn't stick together. Okay, I never really thought about myself being black until I had a non-melanated person call me a nigger. That's the first time I realized that. Oh wow, I wasn't thinking that. Oh wow, I'm not white. I just never thought I was a nigger. Okay, I, that just wasn't part of my vocabulary. We didn't have that in our vocabulary. We didn't have nigger, hard R. We didn't have nigga. We didn't have that. And if we did, it didn't reach my circles. You know. So you did it. You made it. And somebody is going to benefit from knowing you. And all you need to do is don't give everything, but give it your all. But don't give it everything, okay? All right, you're welcome. You're welcome. So I don't want to tell you how I did it, because I don't want you to try to go for the results I got, because it'll be a little bit different for you. Okay? All right, based on historical 1999, two men involved in a business dispute killed each other with a large Puerto Rico. All right. Two men involved in a business dispute killed each other over a large carrying knife in the office of the Union Buffet, a Chinese restaurant located in Massachusetts. I don't know how I could put a positive spin on that, but there's two scenarios that you might want to consider. One of them determined that that's what they were going to do, right? And the other one may have been suspicious, but couldn't imagine that would happen. Anything like that would happen. So you have a way of knowing what's going to happen if you slow down and accept the delays. All right. So, for example, if he had went into work that day a little late, it could have changed. It could have changed the outcome. But since people want to be entrepreneurs, or they got deadlines or whatever, he showed up that day, or they both showed up that day. And in hindsight, it would have been better if one of them had not have shown up. That's the best spin that I could put on something like that. I don't know. I don't know how that scenario could have changed. But anyway, there's something in you that knows if you should go somewhere or not. But we go to work because we're obligated to. If you have a job where you're going to get fired because you show up late, or you miss too many days or something, that job is not for you. Go for the job that you love, and you'll never work another day in your life. I don't know. How could I find that? What do you do when you're by yourself? Some people sing, some people play an instrument. I have an organ and I had to get earphones because that's not going to go so swell in an apartment house. And that's going to put someone over the edge. Look, remember the Botham family. Okay, so you want to uh, figure out what it is that you would do if you were by yourself. All right, if you live in an apartment house, if you were a singer, you, you can't sing at home. One of my grandsons started, his first job or something. I guess he's 17 or 18 or something. And he was part of a blended family. And the dad from the blended family side came home and he wanted to celebrate his son's birthday. So uh, I'm not sure of the exact scenario, but my grandson, I believe, his bedroom wasn't on the first floor. Okay, so it could have been on the second floor or the third floor. The way they did it was the same way we did it when we were growing up. When you reached a certain age, you got your own room. All right, but before you did, you would share a room. So I think we possibly shared rooms with our brothers, and if you were a girl, with our sisters, until we were like 15, 16 years old. And I'm telling you, new people and young people, when you get your own room, it's about time for you to move out. Okay, because of the changes that are going to be happening, you don't want the younger people, the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 year olds, to be around. So you have to move. It isn't that you should move when you're 18 because that's the legitimate age. That's when you become an adult. No, it isn't that at all. I mean, yeah, you do become an adult, but it's the things that you are getting ready to experience. Uh, you really should be on your own, or at least in a household where that sort of thing is going on. You will hear story after story about uh, mothers uh, that will let their kids have parties at their house because they rather have their daughter have sex at home than let them go over to boy's house and find out that she's not coming home or he's not coming home because they went somewhere and met that type of scenario. Okay, so I don't know. Life isn't what you think; it's what you figure out is what life is. Okay, so look for the good. Um, if you're going to take something from any situation, take the good from it. Well, I mean, you got two choices: take the good or take the bad. And to every life, a little rain must fall, but with every cloud, there's a silver lining. So look for the good. Why wouldn't you do that? Mainly because we're distracted and people have aspirations for us. They suspect that when you are a certain age, you're going to get married, move out, buy a car, and a house in a two-car garage. All right. And they are literally waiting for you to do that. And when you reach a point where they think that you should be able to do that, that's when you start getting that. Okay, there's the door. You may not have that on your mind at all. You may not have been like I was. I was actually asked to move on because I began to drink, and I began to drink for free. And I was still in high school. So most kids in high school don't drink. So you don't want to have someone around high school age kids drinking. Fortunately, since I had a relationship with the creator of heaven and earth, things worked out well for me. I had a principal who looked out for me. I didn't have to go to jail. I didn't do anything. And I had uh, people who were recruiters for the military. And they figured out a way to get me into the military because I wasn't a bad kid. I mean, we did our little heist and stuff like that there. When I became an adult, we still used to sit on the porch. And I think I was in my 30s or something like that there. And we're sitting on the porch, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it wasn't, I don't think it was near the 4th of July or anything, but, because some kids hold their fireworks like there are some kids that will hold a snowball till the summer. I digress. I never was any of those type of kids. And we didn't have any of those that we grew up with. But you hear about things like that. Well, these kids came and they started throwing firecrackers. All right. Now, what the kids didn't know, I'm sure they had their plan because it ended up being one of the men who lived in this house. He kind of felt like, oh, it's a sneak attack. I hadn't thought about it. I was on my way outside, sitting on the porch or something, and all of a sudden I hear fireworks. See, I want you to have this type of relationship with the creator of heaven and earth, that you realize you are literally in the right place at the right time, even if it's a bad scenario. Okay? Because this was a bad scenario. Because those kids didn't know that there was a Doberman Pinscher across the street. Okay? Who was quite upset about these fireworks going off, and the dog made himself known. Now, the kid, he wasn't that big. He couldn't have been 5 feet tall. He decided that he was going to get to a place of safety because his dog was coming across the street. And I don't know where the dog's owner child came from. I wasn't looking. I was just coming out of the house. So this kid decided to jump over a fence and get away from the dog, put some distance between him and the dog. And the owner, he was a white guy, and he didn't have that many good experiences with the melanated people because one of them opened up his door. They knew that he kept a shotgun there. And they came in one day. I guess he didn't lock the door or something. And they grabbed his shotgun and ran out of the house. Holy moly. So he was getting kind of overwhelmed. He lived by himself. He was an older person. And I guess he just decided that these melanated people, they're pieces of crap. I don't know. I don't know what he determined. But he got outside at the same time. It was a perfect storm. Okay. You can't make this up. Try to do a movie scene and make this happen. And I'm telling you, you're going to have to rehearse that scene over and over and over again. But this particular scene happened in one take. This is why you have to have a relationship with the creator of heaven and earth, guardian angels. I want you to try to connect. I want you to do the best you can to connect with a higher power or something greater than you. Okay, because these scenarios just come up. So anyway, I don't know what happened to the other kid. I don't even know if there was another kid, but there were enough firecrackers going off to think that there was more than one kid. And so the owner of the house, he took care of his yard. I don't know how he got outside. And I don't know if he had his firearm on him. But he aimed that firearm at that kid. Get off of my effing property. and the dog is steady barking. And this kid is not coming off of this man's property because he did not perceive that this gun to be a threat. And he was a melanated child. So I got across the street. I'm in motion. My brain. I'm being controlled by a higher power. That's the only thing I can tell you. Because I got across the street, and I got the dog's owner. I'll just call it the dog's owner, to get the dog under control because I'm perceiving that this dog is the problem. I'm like, no, baby, you have to get the dog. She was like, go go in the yard or something. I don't know, but she wasn't getting control of this dog. So I got her to get control of the dog. She laid on him. So this made the dog stop barking. But now I'm turning around and the owner got his gun on this dog. On this kid. And he's pissed at this kid. And somehow somebody had called the police. We didn't live that far from the police station, and they got there quick. I think they heard a gun, and they were like, okay. Now I'm standing in the middle of the street trying to talk to this guy. Hey, put your gun down. What are you doing? It's a kid. And the cops pulled up. You didn't hear no sirens or nothing. The cops pulled up. Put the gun on the ground. I'm like, oh, wait. And I'm standing there. I wasn't in between the cops and the guy, but so anyway, to make a long story short, the house that I was living in, it was a ministry house. It was called Adullam. And if you do some Bible reading, you're going to have to read the Bible. There is no way around it, new people. You're going to have some religion, not the kind where they talk about prosperity. They got the $10 line, the $100 line. You should know if you are in a religion. But at least if you get involved in some kind of religion, you're going to be sitting still long enough to absorb something. Okay, and eventually, of course, you'll want to come out of that religion because you're going to see religion has its good points and it has its bad points. And the problem with the good points is they're extraordinary, and you can do extraordinarily well in it. But the bad points are extraordinarily dangerous. So if you find yourself in some type of religion where it's where it has that, then of course you want to come out of it because the goal is for you to end up doing something like I'm doing. That's the goal. And you want to have a type of religion that's equipping you to go out and do something like this. Give you insight of what you're going to run into. I used to go to the Covenant Church of Pittsburgh, located on Andrew Drive in Wilkinsburg, off of Robinson Boulevard, across from the new East Hills. And most churches have what you young people might call a motto. Okay, or you could call it a mission statement, but they want to let you know what type of environment is in here. So their environment was equipping the saints to do the work of the gospel. And chances are pretty good you probably should be an extrovert, unless you're going to be a secretary or something like that there. All right, but you could still, if you're, I think extroverts get better results if you're an extrovert, if you're into some type of church or ministry. For example, the pastor is probably an extrovert. Why would you want to have a pastor that's an introvert? See what I'm saying? So, to make a long story short, I need you to get some type of religion so that you can get a foundation and You can do some things without a religious foundation, but you're going to find in your get the wisdom. And I just find that there is wisdom in religions, some religions. Some of them just go too far. They just do too much. So if you are in something like that, some type of religion that has theatrics and stuff like that, there, just get out of it. Just you're not a stupid person. Remember the story about how you beat 11 other sperm into the egg? You're not a stupid person. Remember how you learned how to live without air, basically, for 9 months. You stayed pretty much in the same position for 9 months and came out healthy as a jaybird. So, I mean, then you learned how to do everything you needed to learn how to do. People don't teach you how to walk it, but you learn how to walk. You know what I'm saying? It's a big deal whenever you take your first step. It's a emotional moment for your parents. Okay, because now they're realizing I don't have to carry this joker much longer when I go to the store. You know what I'm saying? It's an event that needs to be celebrated. So all right, let's see who's this. Okay, historical reports. Oh, hold on. Oops. Two men involved in business dispute killed each other. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, bro. I needed that. Okay, Joe. Good morning from Puerto Rico. You know the place that the United States uses and abuses? Okay. I think it's a lot that you should say that is where you're from, because one of the most beautiful women I've seen in a while that make me want to say something about without any compulsion was a Puerto Rican. She was stunning. And I seen her from an elevated position, and she was in the passenger side. And I just happened to know the driver of the car. And the way the scenario was they were at a light, and I was in an elevated position, and I looked into the car. And I said, "Whoa, do you have any more of those?" Because she looked marvelous. And he made an indication that he might. So, because we're friends. And I was like, how do I get one of those? And he said, well, you have to get bigger, much bigger. Because he was a physical guy, you could tell. People with the muscles in their arm for no reason. I mean, like you're really going to go pick up a car. You don't need muscles all like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and she was a Puerto Rican. So, wherever you are, you're just make the best out of it. Find something that's good of it. You are beautiful looking people, and your accent is off the chain. And I can't imagine that there are people who really use or abuse you, even here in the United States. Now, because people have a inclination to don't like Puerto Ricans or whatever, well, what does that have to do with you? Okay, you met the same scenario that we were going over with others. You are one in a million. No matter where you are, no matter what the United States does, the United Snakes of America. Even people who live here would call them the United States. The United Snakes, because they got they got some stuff with them. They colonize. They do things for their benefit, protect their interest. And if you are in an area that doesn't do that, make something happen where you are. You are the change that needs to happen where you are. Okay, make people uh, feel worthy. You can do that. We have to be the change one by one. Well, it doesn't matter what the United States does. To me, the only time it made a difference to me was when I was in the military, because I was representing the United States. I was there for American interest. But outside of that, I don't really have any American interests overseas. I don't know what their interests are, and I just know that the the loudest people, or the ones that get my attention, are the ones who say, "Oh, this place is no good," or whatever, the conspiracy theorists, or something. But the people who believe in the United States, the ones who are into food banks and helping people, uh, church people who give and buy wells over in overseas, and build wells down into the ground because they understand aquifers, where people who live there might not. They don't know that there's water underground. You can go to the desert, and they say if you go to a mountain in the desert, there's actually water from the dew in the morning, and it trickles down the side of the mountain, and you can actually get water by digging at the base of the mountain. All right, but the thing is, there aren't that many mountains. I digress. So just you have to make the best of it. I don't think that there are more than uh, one or two people that I know that has something bad to say about Puerto Rico that they weren't taught. Okay, so um, stop looking at the oppressor, because that's what they're going to do, Joe. The oppressor oppresses. The Bible teaches us that if we're melanated, the punishment and stuff that we have is because of our own doing. Who knew? So I'm not victim blaming you, but uh, what's happening to you in Puerto Rico is coming from somewhere. At some point, some leader decided that either they weren't going to be colonized, or they made some sort of compromise or something. I don't know. I don't have. I didn't prepare anything for you, but just you have to make the best out of it. All right. Um, don't mind me. Yay for president. Um, anyone can have a moment of clarity. Anyone. The Bible says, "Buy wisdom and sell it not." So if you can buy a little bit of wisdom, you don't have to buy all the wisdom in the world. You can buy a little bit of wisdom, and you are going to influence somebody with the wisdom you have. I like to get wisdom that benefits others. I'm not really interested in a pyramid scheme. I'm not really interested in anything like that. I'm interested in things that help people. Don't mind me, 6767. Okay. When I finally got the inclination of what 6'7" was, I found some scriptures in any particular story in the Bible, chapter 6, verse 7. I found how those are pretty consistent. I found that anything that had chapter 3, verse 16 uh, was pretty consistent with John 3:16. So It depends on what you look for. Okay, if you look for low down dirty dogs, you're going to see low down dirty dogs. But if you get involved with them, you're going to find out that some of them really aren't low down dirty dogs. Some of them are acting or perpetrating. Okay, can I curse you, please, Muck Mubaraka? You probably couldn't, but what you could do is influence something around me that has the intention to curse me, but it wouldn't work. It what you could do is put an obstacle in front of me and call it curse or something. But anything you do against me, you'd have to be there to maintain it. Okay, even a voodoo person, they have to at least go get some of your hair. you know, you know what I'm saying. So if you're willing to curse somebody that why would you want to do that? What have I done to you? Why would you want to curse me? So anyway, I'm going to tell you a little secret. Uh, touch not God's anointed, because if you believe in curses, you believe that there is a higher power or a greater power. And we believe that the higher power and the greater power said, touch not God's anointed. It's not going to go well for you. So if you're in the cursing business, I mean, how swell could life be for you? So why don't you try the opposite? Why don't you try blessing people? Why don't you try lessening people? Give them a lesson and help them. If you curse someone, you tend to push that person away. But I like people. I like them to come around because they bring their stuff and they'll give you some of it. It's a perfect plan. I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is be available. And it's the same thing with you, Viper 77. All you have to do is be a blessing. No one was put down here to be a cursing or a cursor. They, you know, I just told you what you went through to get here. And you ended up cursing people. I make it make sense. So I wouldn't be in that type of environment, and I would not be susceptible to curses unless it comes from the Creator. And so you're working in the neighborhood of things that are supposed to be done by the Creator, and He doesn't like that. The way I learned when I was following a religion, there are no other gods before the creator of heaven and earth. And if there is, he doesn't know them. So if you feel that you could do that, um, you would have to be in that type of environment. And I just don't get it. When we used to watch movies about people who did curses and stuff, it was usually witches. And they usually were mangled looking. And I was into those type of movies long enough to know that the more you use that type of thing, the more grotesque you looked. So you couldn't actually be part of the mainstream because people could tell. You know, like for example, if you got leprosy, you used to have to say when you're in public, unclean, unclean, and people would know that you have leprosy, and they would walk around you. You would have to cross the street. Okay. So anyway, I want you to change your perspective. If you are a young woman, for example, you are equipped with the ability to give life, and if you don't give life, your body is still equipped to provide life with lactating. So if you are barren or something, you could still provide milk for a mother that's having, I don't know, that is not lactating at this time. I'm thinking of that phrase that's kind of popular now in 2026. And I always think of a young black man who's going out trying to do the best he can, but he's just not making money. He hasn't come into his own yet. But one of the things that the mother will invariably say when they leave is, "We need some milk." And that kind of resonated with me because I learned a long time ago that people who can't have kids, got their tube tied and stuff like that there, they still lactate. And I found that out in a uncomfortable way because my spouse, she couldn't have kids, but she still lactated. So, ladies, if you are uh, if you are in a relationship, don't place that on the young man. You are the milk. Don't worry about uh, I wouldn't worry about the milk running out or drying up because there's a mechanism that will cause the lactation to happen. Okay, and if you have to, when it's in abundance, jar it. Put it in those little jars that they used to make preservatives in, and freeze it. I think I'm not sure, but if you preserve something in one of those preserve jars, I don't think you have to freeze it. So uh, take it easy and provide the milk for your child and give the guy a chance to get on his feet and become the provider that you knew he could be. When you hooked up with him, you were ready to go through anything with him, and you have all the wherewithal to support him until he gets on his feet. You, you know, I mean, how many stories have I heard where the woman and the man lost their place and slept in a car together? Yeah. So you do want to support your uh, a fellow there enough to sleep in a car with them. Well, you could do the same thing with using your lactate to fill the to uh, what's up, Ilden Nook? Okay, so you can. The Bible says, so one of the things I learned in religion was uh, you can use your blood for profit. Anybody who doesn't have any money, I want you to know that you can go to a blood bank. And I'm not sure, but I believe you could donate blood twice a week. Okay. And it's not that much. I mean, it's a pint of blood. I mean, they give you some orange juice. So you can store up that blood. Apparently, orange juice creates blood or something. I don't know. So, I mean, if you need money, use your blood for for profit. And it's the same thing for women. If you're at the age where you're lactating, you can get them preservative jobs and you could sell that to mothers who might be a little lactating low this week. So if the men are supposed to be able to use their blood for profit, women, then you should be able to use your lactose for profit. There's just no reason why we don't have any money. Now, I'm going to put this out there, but it is not something that I would recommend. But you can go to a sperm bank as well. Okay. And so I don't know how often you can go, but I think there are so many different looking people. I don't think that they only want the 6'2", eyes of blue, and blonde haired donors. They also want donors from people who have high IQs. Okay, so don't count yourself out of even something like that. But there really isn't any reason not to make money. Now, there may be a reason for you not to make enough money to stay in a 2 or 3 bedroom. So you might have to do like some of the immigrants and uh, have more than one person living in a 1 bedroom. Even in my neighborhood, I help my landlord uh, clean out. They call them clean outs. And he was complaining that this one place that we were doing a clean out on had at least 4 or 5 people in it. He didn't give me an exact number, because I wasn't really that interested, but I was making small talk with him. And but it was a 1 bedroom. And he could tell that it was more than one person in there because of the water bill. If you are uh, if new people, if you move into a place, you invariably won't get the water in your name. I don't know what it is. It's some type of arrangement with the water company that only the owner can turn on the water. And I think it has something to do with you pay for the water coming in and you pay for the sewage going out. So I think it has something to do with that. I don't know because you don't pay for the electricity going in and out. But now they have devices that helps you uh, reuse the negative electricity. They got devices for that now. So, it has anything electric has a positive side and a negative side. So they've got things for you. Use your imagination. Come up with something that nobody else ever came up with. Imagine the person who came up with what they call the clapper. Now, just imagine somebody is sitting in their house and they're like, you know what? I don't want to get up and turn out the light. So they came up with a device where if they would clap, it would turn off the electricity. It's okay. There's no school for that. Okay, so you have an idea and you just have to work it. Okay, you're worth it. So what's good, big dog? All right, so this is coming up on 2 hours. Like and subscribe to my channel. If you would, buy me a cup of coffee. I'm at dollar sign Cash App, $Cash App, Ricky and the letter D, 413. That's RICKEY and the letter D, 413. I have two of them because when I started it, I forgot the first time I started it, I forgot my code or something, and I didn't have the wherewithal to. Uh, I got it when it first came out, and I really wasn't into passwords or anything like that. Sup, Unc? Can you say my name? Because I've been feeling kind of lonely. Sure, Dixon. Um, I think I was talking to you earlier today. I talked about the Mason Dixon line. So I want you to know that when I think of the name Dixon, it has a good connotation to it. People like Masons. I talked about the Mason's jars and their with their worth. So people don't look at someone named Mason and actually feel bad about it, unless you know uh, there's some reason to feel bad about it. Freemason. There's nothing wrong with the Freemasons. The problem with the Freemasons is the people who talk about it negatively. But the Freemasons build stuff. I mean, uh, duh, where would we be if we didn't have um, free labor from the blacks on building stuff? So chances are pretty good blacks were the first Freemasons. I'm just saying. It depends on your perspective. All right. I am Soap Band. I am today's old. I am today's years old. I want you to know that there is one or more types of calendars. Okay. And say we're using the Gregorian calendar. I think if I did my age in a different type of calendar, do you realize I'm only 10 years old? And it's kind of like that in dog years. So it's something that we know and use because we call it dog years. For every year that a dog is born, it's equivalent in Gregorian years as 7 years. So there are different calendars. And if you can, use a different calendar. If you don't like this one, use another one. Make your appointments and don't associate it with a Gregorian calendar date. Don't celebrate birthdays if you're using the Gregorian calendar, because you're going to be stupidly old and you're going to hear things that are counterintuitive, like you're as young as you feel, and stuff is going to. So find the other calendars. Find the moon calendar. Find the Mayan calendar. Find out what year we are actually in. There's one calendar that's in existence today, but not taught in schools, that says that this is the year 2016 or something like that. So use your own imagination. Find different things and go with that. And if you believe it, it'll work. If you believe that a dog ages 7 years for every year, and it turns out it's true. Okay, and they've studied it, and the thing dies. You could have a dog for 7 years, and the thing just dies. You know, because for 7 years having a dog, he's 49 years old. Get it? So look at some of the other calendars. Learn about how other people do it. That's the best part about being an American. You don't have to do it the way everybody does it. Do it your way. I did it my way. So that kind of gives you an idea how old I am. All right, stonemasons aren't the same as Freemasons. Okay. Thank you for that. Peace for Animal Kingdom. Thank you for that. So I'm pretty sure they use the same instruments and same tools. So you kind of get my connection there. It's not an exact science, because science observes. All right. Science might not necessarily create, but science is an observation thing. So I've observed that stonemasons and Freemasons do the same thing. Okay. And the only way that you would know that they're different is you would have had to make some type of inquiry. So be curious. Don't take the status quo. Just be curious. And you might invent something. You might invent something that'll change your life. Okay? Your eyes look like angel eyes. Oh, thanks, Marion. These old things. All right, so anyway, I got to go, guys and gals. I had fun. I'm following the Gregorian calendar, and I got an appointment on the other side of town. So I'm going to go ahead and take off. I guess I could take you with me. I love to go wandering along the mountain track. And as I go, I love to sing a knapsack on my back. Boundary, boundary, boundary. Okay, that's my traveling song. So anyway, Happy Snowmageddon. I don't know if this particular Snowmageddon is taking or sticking around longer than the other Snowmageddons that we have had. I've been in a blizzard situation that was so bad, the emergency services went out on their little microphones and made an announcement that not to use your gas stove for heat. And they provided for us in a church. I'm telling you, you're not going to make it through life without being influenced by some sort of religion, some sort of church. All right, you don't have to join them, but if you can't beat them, join them. You know what I'm saying? Most people who go to church, I don't think they go and plan on doing anything bad. It's not like the Reformation back in the old days where they had the Crusades and stuff like that. There, I don't think that's why most people go. I know that's not why I went. When I realized that there was a creator of heaven and earth, I was already in church most of my life. Religion didn't help me realize that there was a creator of heaven and earth. But like my example with the Masons and the Freemasons, I found that being in religion, that there was a creator of heaven and earth. Number one, there's no atheist in a foxhole. Okay? And there shouldn't be. I mean, if there is, you must be one of those depictions that they had of the Orange Man, where he was in a helicopter flying around. They had the music in the background, and he was dropping some excrement on the citizens. Unless you're one of those kind of people. But for the most part, if you're not a psychopath, a sociopath, or whatever kind of path, I don't think that you would join the church to plan something bad, to, I don't know, be a Unabomber or anything like that there. Even though people who go to church do become hypocritical, and you might find that some people who are religious have those types of problems. But when I realized in my zeal for religion or whatever, zealot or whatever, I did actually meet the creator of heaven and earth, or at least a facsimile thereof, that made me realize that there is a creator of heaven and earth, and it's not me. Okay, I didn't think I was all that in a bag of chips, but I felt that I was self-sustaining. I don't know. So anyway, that's my story. Young people, new people, you can make it. Be prepared for anything. One of the ways that you can prepare for something every day is put on the full armor of God. It's lightweight. It's color coded. So whatever color you are, that's the color of the armor. You put on the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness. You carry your sword of truth. You gird up your loins like a man or a woman. You prepare your feet for the shedding of the gospel, or the preparation of the gospel, kind of like what I'm doing. And you'll have it made. You'll get cold. You'll get caught in Snowmageddon. You'll have family members that you love that are going to get to heaven before you do. Even though that's where we all want to go. I mean, even the Orange Man said he thinks about heaven. He wants to go to heaven. And in an interview, he said that I hear that I'm not doing so swell. He's a nutball. Anyway, so people do want to go to heaven, but some of our family members have made it before we did. Um, some of the ways that they got up there might not be the way that we would like to go. I would personally like to go in my sleep, but chances are pretty good. Whenever you go, it really doesn't make any difference. You're going now. So kind of be flexible on that. Make sure you put on this armor. Now look how long it took me to put on the helmet of salvation and the breastplate of righteousness. How long did that take? Just do it just in case. You put gas in the car because you don't run out of gas. You fix it because you don't want to get in an accident. So try to look at what's next. There has to be something next because everything we've ever done, there was something next, right? So anyway, be of good cheer. Make something up and see what you can do. People come up with cults. And I'm thinking of the one where the people believed that there was an asteroid and behind the asteroid was the coming of the soon coming king or something like that there. So they all drank the Kool-Aid that night. And that's kind of how they checked out. And the asteroid came and there was nothing behind it. And there may not have been something behind it. There may have been something behind it, but non-believers didn't see it. I mean, that's possible too. I mean, where does air come from? And if we're spinning on a ball 2,000 miles, seems like we would have a problem with them standing up, you know. What? It just seems like that. So go with some of the other stuff, young people. You might have to look at life a little different than thinking Earth is a spinning ball. You might have to look at it like it's flat to actually find what it is that you're created to do. You might have to look at it like there are 13 months in a year. If you take 13 times 28, you come up with 364 days. All right? And we already know about leap year and stuff like that there. And that's what the 365-day calendar. So try to live like that. Change it up a little bit and go with the 13-day, the 13-month calendar and see how that changes your perspective. Instead of trying to keep up with this insane pace that we have here in our society with the school to prison pipeline system. Now there are some schools that aren't in that system, but the majority of the schools would have to do something like that because that's in industry. Okay, so just try something new. Try something different, and you don't have to make a big deal out of it. I seen a UFO. I wasn't looking for a UFO. I found myself standing on my porch. I don't know what time it was. I'm pretty sure it was dark. Or either that, the UFO was so big that everything around me was dark. I don't know. But I do remember seeing it. And it wasn't going over me like this. It was in front of me like this. Now, I'm not the strongest guy on the team, but if I have a hard ball, I think I could throw it. And I believe that I could throw this. I believe that I could throw a handball and hit that thing. That's how close it was. Okay. So now, whenever you're in a moment like that, time seems to go past pretty quickly. So now I'm thinking, what in the world am I? How did I get out here? And I remember thinking, uh, is this thing bringing me back, or is it taking me? All right. And however I got there, I remembered I wasn't out there on purpose because I didn't have my cell phone. Okay. And I watched the skies because my area where I live in, we have light pollution. So we can't really see the stars. Okay. And even if you find a vacant field or something, it's light pollution. So we don't get to see the stars. So I will spend time on the porch, like stargazing. I never went as far as getting a telescope, but I wanted to, but I was so preoccupied with working, relationships, problems, I never actually brought that to fruition. But to this day, I would want to go to Arizona and live. And then as time goes on, you're going to get the people who complain about everything, and you find that Arizona might not be my type of climate. so I kind of let that fall off a little. The closest I got to being able to be a stargazer was when I moved to, when I went to North Carolina, and they have trees that are shaped quite oddly, because they used to hang people. But they have some trees that they're just straight. They're like toothpicks. So you could actually see the stars, but then now there's so many trees, you don't really see stars like you would see in Arizona. I always want to go to a place where I could see the skies and you could see the Milky Way and Orion's belt and stuff like that. I wanted to go to that type of place. So when I had a chance to go to the motherland, where it's not as light polluted, it never dawned on me to stargaze, because I'm here and I'm in the middle of nowhere and people are just dodo birds. The person that I was with, one of the locals, fancied them and they made themselves known. I was like, okay. And when they did it, it was like late at night. And I'm like, I'm already tired. I'm in a climate that's hotter than I'm used to being in. So I'm dehydrated. Now I got to deal with ding dong. And I'm like, oh. So life just keeps on lifing. So what you do is don't try to get a handle on life. Just handle it, you people. Handle it. We had this movie that we used to watch, and the guy, he was a mayor of a city. It was a sitcom, and his solution to his aide or assistant was handle it. That was his thing. So this is what I want for you. You may not have been privileged to come up during the times that we did, but the times that you are in, you have wonderful tools that you could use. Cell phones, electric cars, self-driving cars and stuff. We believe that when we grew up, we would have cars that fly, but not like the ones you guys have, because the ones that you guys have propellers, but they're flying cars. So get into it. Get into whatever you're into, or get involved to wherever you are, and make something happen. Leave something, and then when it's your turn to go, you would feel like you contributed, and maybe somebody will remember you. Maybe you'll have some kind of legacy or something. So it's easier than you think. It's just what you what you do or what you don't do. Our problems is our dreams fade away. They don't actually die, they just fade away. You get preoccupied with whatever you're doing, and your dream falls by the wayside. And the things that are taking up your time was someone else's dream that came to fruition. Make your dream number one. Put yourself in the driver's seat, okay? All right, so that's it. I'm starting to digress. So like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If I get 1,000 subscribers, I can do whatever you can do with that. Then, of course, since it's our nature, after that, I'll try to get 100,000 subscribers. Looking at the analytics the other day. And then after that, I'll try to get 1 million. We always want to get more and more and more. That's just in our nature. And the more you get, you realize that it wasn't that difficult. Okay, it took time, but if you concentrate, if you focus on it, you can make it happen. I can get 1,000 subscribers. I might not be able to get it within 6 months, but 6 months ago I didn't know I could get 200. So don't give up, don't give in. Whatever you have, someone is going to need it. It's called a niche, NICH. Okay, this for me, it seems to be my niche. I can do this for hours, because this is what I would do if I was by myself. I would get online and I would talk to people. I would encourage people. And I came up with some ideas since I've been talking to you all today that I might not have had before you asked a question. So, come on. Get in the game. Throw your hat in the ring and make it happen. There's going to be somebody that if you build it, they will come. Okay? Love ya. See ya.